Hi, Tim Ria here at the Feature and Review FiRe5 event with Mr. Ken FiRe, CEO of iCad. Ken?
Great to be here. This is quite an exciting conference. Lots of forward-looking thinking, both from a technology standpoint as well as global affairs. And I think the combination of those two makes this a pretty exciting place to be.
Now, you have a really exciting company that's solving some riddles in cancer using some pattern recognition technology. Can you tell me about your background in the company?
Sure. The company has been together since 2003. We have been in the business of detecting cancer since then. Our business focus today is on mammography. Breast cancer unfortunately afflicts about 200,000 women per year, new cases in the United States. There's still about 40,000 deaths per year from breast cancer. We tend to have very good compliance with screening. Actually, 40 million mammograms on average are performed each year in this country.
40 million.
Any woman over 40 should typically get a mammogram every year or every other, depending on their physician's discretion. And it's very important to find cancer earlier, because when you find breast cancer earlier, you typically can treat it well. Survival is lengthened, quality of life tends to be a win-win all around, both for obviously the patient, their family, the clinician, the radiologist trying to detect cancer. And it helps us to keep avoidance of cost in the healthcare system as well.
And what's the stage of your company right now?
We're a public company. We're traded on the NASDAQ. In 2006, we did just under 20 million in revenue. We have about 95 employees. This quarter just completed, which we announced on May 8th, we grew about 40% over the first quarter of last year. A lot of it's attributable to the fact that the entire market is moving towards digital mammography as opposed to a film-based system. It's now purely digital. And when they buy a digital system from companies like GE or Siemens, they buy the computer-aided detection, which is really a server and software which sits seamlessly on the network. And when the radiologist sits at the review station, they review the image of the breast, and then they turn on the CAD marks, which then marks what we would believe to be suspicious areas. So it's a second pair of eyes for the radiologist to be able to see cancers more clearly. And our goal is always to try to find the toughest to find cancers that might be missed, either because they're difficult to read or fatigue or distraction, since radiologists at times really read an awful lot in the course of the day, and they get tired like any other human being.
Excellent, excellent. So you have an innovation and a technology that is working to aid and basically save people's lives.
Absolutely. It's a pattern recognition technology. It's morphology based, so we're looking at characteristics of size and shape. We have a rigorous FDA process. We're in that PMA cycle, which is that longer 180-day regulatory cycle. Today we have a product for the film-based marketplace as well as the digital space. Under development, we have a product for colon cancer detection via what's described as the virtual colonography, which is a CT scan of the colon, and then obviously a CAD product which looks for polyps within the colon and helps the radiologist while they're reading the colon, if you will, through a 3D rendering application to identify polyps of a certain size they want to take a second look at and maybe remove, which could avoid colon cancer altogether if they detect it at an early stage. And this is a breakthrough procedure because today there is what's called the optical invasive procedure. You have to go under anesthesia, you have to go through a rigorous prep, and obviously patients shy away from that. There's 80 million Americans in the United States over the age of 50. We think the compliance at age 50 of a healthy person getting a colonoscopy is less than 50% compliance. With the new virtual CT procedure, you don't have the anesthesia, you don't have the fear of an invasive procedure, and we think as that may be approved probably in the 2008 timeframe, it would be a great time for us to enter the computer-aided detection space to help the radiologist find the polyps in the colon and hopefully avoid colon cancer altogether.
So we're hitting a convergence point or a synergy point. Population's getting older, and the technology for doing non-invasive screening
Sure.
is a market force that your company's taking advantage of right now.
Absolutely. And what we think is that if you can address a screening population such as women at age 40, any person at age 50, that's all about volume of procedures. Versus the diagnostic space, which is much more a subset once you've gone through some screening process. So we're looking for volume. We're looking where early detection has a real clinical benefit and it's been proven. And then also, to your point, where it's either minimally or non-invasive as a procedure, which will create public awareness and higher compliance. That is really the sweet spot of our business today, and it's where we're looking for other opportunities. One area of interest would be, as an example, lung cancer screening. There's probably 60+ million Americans that either smoke or used to smoke. And there's a lot of controversy over lung screening, but the idea would be maybe that's a good target population that should get screened on a healthy basis on an annual or semi-annual, whatever the circumstance may be, and ultimately we should hopefully help them find subtle cancers in the lung as well, under that same premise that early detection should help with survival and quality of life.
So Ken, have you enjoyed the Feature and Review event, and how is it different from other events you've attended?
Well, most of what we do is healthcare specific conferences, and it's very much talking about the environment in healthcare today and what you have to sell in healthcare today. This conference clearly is looking out several squares into the future, and as a result of looking out into the future, you're looking at macro and micro trends of what's going on around the world and how you can adapt leading edge technologies to those trends. And I think that helps us as a company not be so short-term and tactical, because clearly as a public company you worry every day, every quarter about your performance, and it's hard to look out in a very long-term horizon. But I think this conference really allows you to do that, and that's a refreshing break for us, and will help us to shape our strategy longer term versus the day-to-day concerns about the short term.
Great, Ken. Well, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you very much. It's been great to be here.
Cheers.